about this new anti-you-know-what-itism bill, okay? So I've been reading up on it. I've been putting it on my little background subscription services things and everything else, talking to them about it, and then, of course, posting it. I think I did a post on my community page here for my members. Feel free to join there. I want to talk about this thing, okay? JangStream style. We going janking on the freeway. Okay. So, rights groups are warning that this could further chill freedom of speech. Now, I just want to say, if I may, it is absolutely amazing how all of this just goes. First and foremost, the legislation that I've seen pass our stupendous Congress, our People's House, the House of Representatives, in the last, I'll just say month, has been some of the worst legislation I've ever seen in my entire life. Numerous reasons why on that, but we're going to stay honed and focus on this big pile of trash right here. Now, let me reiterate some things for those who don't know the background of me. And I grew up, and one of my best friends was Jewish. I grew up celebrating Passover. You know, not all the time, but from time to time we'd go over there, and I would celebrate with them. Actually, two very good friends that I still talk to this day. One, probably one of my closest, is Jewish. And he's, normal dude. He's into sports. He's in the medical profession. He's got a wonderful family. He's a good human being. Okay? And I love the guy. I've known him since I was 9 years old. Okay? Did everything with him. We went to baseball games. We did, just so you get the point. This is one of my closest friends. This is the kind of person that when something terrible happens, he's one of the first people to text me in the background. And either, did you see that, or how you doing, whatever, right? Good friend. And I don't hold, anything. I'm currently teaching civil rights stuff, nonviolent revolutions, neo-colonial, decolonization, whatever the heck you want to call it. Peaceful protest, peaceful resistance. I'm currently teaching this, okay? And we're going through the usual suspects. I'm teaching about Gandhi, and of course, you have to put the caveat that he said some things when he was young that people disagree with, and I'm teaching about Mandela, and I give my own little personal caveat that, he is a communist, and there were moments when he was not peaceful. Going through the whole thing. And, I could go in and do some stuff on what's going on in Israel right now, and I really don't want to, because, it's just, we're at the end, and going into that kind of stuff would just literally, you're throwing a Zippo lighter onto a tinderbox. However, I do have feelings, about all this, and, on the crisis report, I try to keep it on the straight and narrow. And I'm not going to litigate this here in front of people, but I am not anti-Israel. Okay, I guess would be the most nebulous way to say it. And I'm trying to word this right. There's problems with this bill, and the reason why is it's going to make it so me simply expressing my faith as a Christian, as a follower of Jesus Christ, who believes that he came and died for my sins, and to whom I have given my soul and want to follow him. I am a Christian. I am a believer in Christ, and there's language now that they're saying that like you can't even quote the Bible. That you can't quote certain things. If you do, then it could be potentially considered anti-Semitism. And I have a major problem with that. So let's just go through this thing. Thank you for JangStreaming with me. We love to do this now. The House of Representatives overwhelmingly passed the bill. Okay, I think it was 320 to 91. Okay. All the anti-war protests are just blowing up right now. They're literally, right before I did this, I'm putting the crisis report together because when I get done here, I'm going to go over there and I'm going to do my thing. And the last little bit of news that eked out the door was USC basically locking down their entire campus and doing a shelter in place because the protests have gotten incredibly violent, as they did in UCLA. If you have 10 minutes of your time, go and find some place, and there it is everywhere. It is ubiquitous. Find somewhere that you can go and watch. No, don't waste all your time watching it, but watch what has happened on American universities. A keen eye on UCLA. Other colleges, I believe Brown basically said they are going to go to the board and talk to the board members about possibly doing a divestment from Israel, stuff like that, giving in to the people that have occupied the Greens and stuff. You think that's great? Great. If you don't think that's great, okay. But, university protests are spreading. It's May Day today, which is a big day for communists. University Gaza protests were raging at Columbia. There was multiple arrests. There's violence. They don't know if they're going to have a commencement for the people graduating. I might know something about that. I have a very close member of my family that graduated from Columbia. They are appalled at what's going on currently. If the bill were to become law, it would codify a definition created by the International H-Cost Remembrance Alliance, IHRA, Title 6 of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Federal anti-discrimination law bars discrimination based on shared ancestry, ethnic characteristics, or national origin. Sounds innocuous enough. Sounds like, okay, that's not so bad. You shouldn't be discriminating against people anyway for whatever immutable characteristics they have. That's what I tell my students. I say it's basically you're discriminating against people for immutable characteristics, their skin color, their place of origin, stuff like that, which, religion comes in and there's some gray area there. And again, I'm not going to litigate this whole thing in front of you, but the HRA's definition could be used to stifle campus protests against this whole thing going on in Israel, which claimed the lives of 34,568. This is Al Jazeera, I might add, okay? So I'm going to Al Jazeera. Al Jazeera, those that don't know, it is out of Qatar. Qatar has been accused of being assembling a lot of anti-Israel rhetoric, from funding the green tents on the lawn to owning an entire media group called Al Jazeera, which at one point was the BBC in the Middle East, for those that don't know its history. So, the definition: a certain perception of the JASE, and of course you can't say, I'm just, you don't want a Borg monster to come rolling out. You said the word. Which may express his hatreds towards them. Rhetorical and physical manifestations of anti-atism are directed towards those people and not those people and their property, toward the community, institutions, and religious facilities. Now, the word I want you to look at most specifically is institutions. Okay? what is that? What is an institution? That's a broad definition. Institution legally can mean a lot of different things. According to the IHRA, that definition also encompasses the targeting of the state of Israel. Ding, 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 right there. So let's say I am not against Israel as a state. You know, I actually would like to visit there someday. You know, I'm fine with all that. I've got friends that are actually Israelis, but there's certain aspects of the package that they have received that I currently think is, I don't know, just a bit overdone, you know. I find it very interesting that all of this is timed out right now. They are getting ready to go into Rafah. That basically is surprising and hasn't happened yet, but then again, now as more things unfold, I think we're getting a more clear picture of what's going on. You have these campus eruptions going on all over, violent, happening. Right now there's some dude getting hit in the head with a pallet in California, okay? Violent stuff going on all over, East Coast, West Coast, Upper Midwest, Wisconsin, Texas, everywhere. And all of a sudden, magically, as all this is going down, our esteemed Congress comes out with this big bill, this, you know, HR, whatever the heck it is, from 2023. So this is something that they've had in the chute for quite some time. If I remember correctly, it is the ADL that is doing it. I personally think that the ADL is, this is a personal opinion, they're a little rabid in their approach to things. You know, not everything is hate. Let me give you an example. In sports ball, there's a lot of talk about undoing the names of certain sports teams. Now, last time I checked, a sports team wants a symbol of strength. And there's a college, their team is the Gales. You've got the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. These are specific ethnic groups, the Irish. No problem there. But, you know, Washington Commanders, the Redskins are deemed, we can't have that anymore in the NFL. Even though polling up to the very end from the Native American community said they absolutely they love the name. They really do. I think it was 90%. They're in certain polls. And by the way, with polling, you can, I mean, stats, lies, damn lies, and statistics, you know. You can make anything favor, look good, attribute, whatever you want to say, to your cause. This whole thing is a pile of dung. Should this religious group people face discrimination? No. Should any of them, you know, have to worry about going and attending a college because some, you know, is going to come out of like nowhere and you know do whatever the heck it is they're going to do to them? No, they shouldn't do that. They you know, they have a right. At the same time, though, when we're getting to the point where I can't criticize the country of Israel for whatever reason, I hold the right to criticize everyone, most specifically me. And I don't have the right to, you know, put out things of faith that I believe in as a Christian, of getting even more by the day practicing Christian. So this whole thing is just a big pile of dung. Group also includes certain examples in the definition to illustrate anti-Semitism, saying, for instance, the existence of a state of Israel is racist endeavor, would be deemed anti-Semitic under its terms. The definition also bars any comparison between contemporary policy and that of the Yazis. Even though you could make some, you know, you can make a case for similarities. I'm not saying I'm going to, I'm not saying that's correct. I'm just saying you could make the case. And the case being, that's what you're trying to sell. There are vast differences. History does not, do the same thing. It has some rhyming points, but it does not repeat. So criticism of Israel similar to that level against any other country cannot be regarded as anti-Semitism. Rights groups, however, have raised concerns. The definition nevertheless conflates criticism between Israel and Zionism. And this is where the big split happens. This is where things get bifurcated. They split off. And, you really do have two things of thought. The state of Israel, the Israelis, they're not all of them are Zionists. Okay? They're not. Those that don't know what Zionism is, it's a political version of Judaism, just like Sharia law is a political version of Islamic rule, okay, politically. So, and this is all through time. I mean, there have been caliphates, there have been Jewish states, there's been states that have been, based off of Christendom and all that. This happens. It is what it is. So now you've got a letter of lawmakers from the American Civil Liberties Union urged House members to vote against the legislation. They didn't, saying federal law already prohibits anti-Semitic discrimination and harassment. And that is absolutely correct. If you have read the 1964 Civil Rights Act, it's broad, but it is, very specific with what it lays out. It just so happens I've been reading it as of late and getting into it and looking at it. So, here we are. I'm trying to find the part where they quoted, here we go, Massie, okay? Massie was in quoting it. I believe that it was Romans 2:9. I think it was one of the passages that were cited. It says, by encompassing purely political speech about Israel into Title VI's ambit, the bill sweeps too broadly. Representative Massie, a Republican, and by the way, he's brilliant. He went to MIT. Criticized the bill in a post on the social media platform X, noting that if only referred to the IHRA's definition without providing the exact language. Okay. Stating clearly what parts will be enshrined into law. So, and of course, this could all get changed. This could get over the Senate, and the Senate could whip this thing into shape and say, drop that and do this. But of course, if you look at the way that our Senate has been acting as of late, that's not going to happen. Our Senate's not going to do that. They're going to, in fact, if anything, they'll put an even further rabid language. Between the Senate and the House of Representatives this time, I mean, if I want people writing the bill, I'll go with the House, 7 days out of the week. The Senate is, I don't even, anyway. So next only is a definition listed here, but also it finds specific examples of anti-Semitic speech. So I'm trying to find what they had. People were quoting. I'll have it in the crisis report. For those that don't know, I'm going to be going on after this with the crisis report here pretty soon. And I know I've got the scripture there. If you guys know the scripture that specifically has been cited in this, please put that into the chat. I believe it was Romans 2:9, if I remember correctly. There was more though, and I wish I was one of those guys that could sit down and just be like, this verse and that verse. I mean, I'm currently in the midst of my own little personal revival, and I'm not proud to say where I'm at in that revival. I'm like I said, I'm very critical of myself. But U.S. lawmakers also upped the pressure on university administrators to quash protests. The protests are going nuts. Okay, I mean, this is, I want to play it, but I'm not going to. Because I don't want the old yeller on there. For those that don't know, the old yeller is when you aren't going to make anything on the tube because your stuff is sensitive and you don't want anybody to get butthurt. Okay, we shall not serve the butthurt. So yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think about this? House Speaker Johnson announced that several House committees would be tasked with a probe into alleged campus anti-Semitism. I find it also quite interesting that Mike is a devout Christian, from his own words, is regularly cited scripture on the House floor, and you know what? Great. I think that as a Christian, I want more of that. But to go in and to see this and to do it and to not, have a little bit of a, hey, this might backfire or this might not work in these certain, senses, these circumstances. So, I don't know. I mean, we're in a very peculiar spot right now, folks, with all of this. We're in a very peculiar spot with all of this. So, the talks, well, they're basically gone. We're going to get into, there's a very big quiet before the storming of Rafah. I think we're pretty much there. I'm thinking weekend, probably. And the reason why is because it's better that way. That way the people are out and living their lives and they're not worrying about those crazy stuff going on in the Middle East and stuff like that. So here's where all the pro-Palestinian things are. Colombia, of course. Oh, I've got a list of what they're demanding. It's quite funny. Water, of course. They want what was it? Zip ties and some other stuff that just was strange. So where are they happening? Here you go. So this thing a couple days ago was, I think it was New York City, down south, Texas. Well, now, it's gangbusters. So, I mean, that's a lot. All up and down the way. I mean, I was kind of surprised with Seattle. I thought Seattle was, being a former resident, I mean, you want to talk about people that love to protest. Hook this up for Seattle, dog. They're ready to roll. But, of course, USC, UCLA, a few other colleges there, Southern California, Stanford. Let's see what we got. New Mexico, University of Utah, Colorado, Dallas, and UT. All these places, all down here. Florida wasn't playing. The one guy came out and said, we're not a babysitting service. And said, we warned you. And they started hammering them and getting rid of them there. So, University of Florida, and then Florida State University, of course. These are all bigger universities. So, North Carolina, this is where we are, up in the area. Baltimore, UMBC, that's expected. District of Columbia, let's see, Gallaudet, Howard, George Washington, Georgetown, American University. There's no more surreal picture on the planet, folks, than looking at George Washington's statue at GWU and him having like full-on jihadi gear overlooking the campus sprawl. I mean, it's just surreal. It's absolutely surreal. Johns Hopkins, Pitt, Swarthmore. That's a lot of schools. And you know what? The problem is that it's not getting better. It's not like it's like, oh, things are going to get fine. We're going to, things are getting better. No, things are getting worse. This map was like 1/12 what it is right now. There was a few things in the east, few things in the west, Texas, and a couple other places, and that was about it. Now it's going freaking gangbusters. So, you've got all these troops coming in and stuff, looking and going in, because, why are they going on the second floor? Because they freaking barricaded themselves. That's not peaceful protesting, if I may. Peaceful protesting is chaining yourself to a streetlight. It's marching to the sea, for some salt, Gandhi style. It's refusing to pay certain things of a state. All this stuff. It's really, having to enter on the second floor with a full battalion and MRAPs on the ground and not knowing because what's going to happen is, folks, and here's the thing, they're going to go into one of these things and it's going to be full. They will be going against Hamas, like legit, the American version. Oh, and what else does this tie into? Does it tie into what's going on in our South? On Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, and California? South style? Of course it does. So think about that. Who are these people? Why did it happen in, we're on like day 215 or something of this war. Why is it just starting now? There was a heck of a lot worse crap going on, 4 months ago than there are right now. And now all of a sudden everything is erupting. Why is that? Is that just enough? They got enough time to get everybody in the door? Absolutely just frustrating to watch all of this. So here are the arrests. I mean, clearly thousands. Yep. So thousands of people arrested. Having to go on the second floor, not even knowing what the heck you're going to get when you get in there. So, folks, while I have you, if you have not hit that thumbs up, please do it. We are JangStreaming tonight, for those that don't know. JangStream is the thanks stream. Yeah. JangStream is is the way we roll from time to time on PrepperNow. So, we appreciate you. Tell people to hit that like button and, helps with the algorithm and all that. I know. It gets boring when people have to say that, but if you don't keep reminding people forget, then your stuff isn't scrolled past for whatever reason. So, but yeah, this is gonna get worse and worse and worse. It's gonna get going. The campuses are gonna get worse and worse. This law, I mean, it sounds like the Espionage Act of World War I. I mean, that's what it sounds like. It's unconstitutional. Many people said that, and that's the other thing. They will challenge this. They'll challenge this law. They'll be like, okay, let's take it to court. The problem is, in the meantime, via lawfare, people will manipulate it. They'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, we'll challenge in court, but there's not going to be a ruling for 3 months, so we can go get some people and put them out of our purview for a little while. That's the problem. So yeah, eventually this thing gets knocked down, like most crappy laws. But there's this damage zone where they can take it and they can just wreak havoc and get people for all kinds of stuff. So I don't know. That's a lot of problems in America right there with the colleges. Who knows what they're harboring there? And then you go from there, and you take that and you add on this bill, and it's just poo-poo, not good. So, yeah, colleges are going to get worse. Wait till what happens, like when Rafah gets rolling, when they go and they do the Rafah incursion, and it will happen. Wait for that. That's when the fit's going to hit the sham, folks. There'll be who flung poo all over the place. And whoever's watching, whatever. So, Crazy, 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 crazy times. That's all I can say. By the way, in AI, I watched this one guy. He said AI has predicted that we're coming up towards a extinction level event. So, you know, at this point, bring on the meteor, folks. You know, bring on Jesus. Come back, please. This is just getting surreal. You know, I don't know. 50 years old. I've never seen the country like this. And I guess the worst thing about it is it's totally avoidable. So this obviously has to be manufactured. Just saying. So we're going to leave it at that. Folks, we're going to go on over to the crisis report. If you'd like to join us over there, it's not a terribly long one. It is a little bit of a calm before the storm, but it will cover everything for you. And you'll know exactly where we are and how we got here. Most comprehensive news on YouTube. Thank you all. I think I'm now over 28,600 subscribers as we're growing. For those that don't know, I teach history for a living and would love to have you here as we take a thoughtful, non-hyperbolic look at the changes that are going on around all of us from a vantage point of the big picture. This isn't a I'm pro-left or right thing. This is a I'm an American, and how is this going to affect my children thing? Because I've got 3 kids, and that's my lens. I could care less what big letter is sitting next to you. So what I care about is that my kids have a good future, and we'll be covering it. God bless, friends. We'll see you over at the Crisis Report, youtube.com/@CrisisReport. Come on over. I'll give a 30-second kind of start to everybody so you guys can climb on into the room, and we'll go through everything. God bless. PrepperNow. Thank you.